for you as a coach, how do you, I'm always curious to ask this, where it's like, hey, how do people kind of like have that balance of keeping things in perspective, understanding and staying present and being appreciative of what we do, but then flipping the switch where it's like, okay, I'm trying to be, we're trying to get the most out of this race or most out of this this spring or outcome, whatever it is. How do you message that or flip that switch for the athletes? Because you wouldn't necessarily be going to, the national championship every single year if there wasn't that kind of like innate competitiveness to get there, right? Like no one gets handed it. It's like, hey, like obviously you guys are doing something right. So how do you kind of flip that switch in the athlete's mind of, let's bring it all together and let's extend the season.
I don't think I can make anybody want it. What I can do is make them realize that they want it. Like I think people do. People want to be successful. They want the medal. They want to know that they've done enough. And the part that holds them back is the fear that if they really try and still fail, then that hurts, like it. And so I think it's less of it, it's more of a like, it depends on the athlete or the group of athletes. But I think a lot of times it's, they want to be competitive, and it's more a matter of convincing them that they belong there. One that they are good enough and that they belong there. Like, I think that's the thing. There's so many things in the world, whether it's Instagram or competition or whatever, like, or apply to this college. Are you good enough? Go to this race. Are you good enough? Like, and where they're like, I have to prove to show that I'm good enough. And some people get really fired up by that. But I think a lot of people also get anxious about that. And they're like, if you're the coxswain screaming in the face, are you good enough? They're like just as likely to scream back, no. I think they're really, really hard on themselves. And so, we look at these big end of season races, NCAA and NIRC, and they're like, oh my gosh, are we going to have to, like, will we be next to Bates? Will we be next to Williams? What about Tufts? And I'm like, they're just people. Like, they are people who, like, they're doing exactly the same thing. They're a bunch of college goobers just like you. And why not you? And so I don't think I have to tap into their competitiveness so much as their sense that, like, their belief in themselves, that they belong there, that they can do it, that they are in fact strong and intimidating to somebody else. Like you guys are, like, you guys are the bear in the woods, they're as scared of you as you are of them. And it's more, and that's fun. That's what makes coaching fun. I'm not in coaching to be a hard ass and tell people that they don't belong. I'm in coaching to be like, why not you? Like, this is possible. Like, I want to show people that it's possible. And when they see I guess that's it. If they see the excitement or feel that it's genuine, that there's no reason, like, there's no reason that they have to fail. But I think a lot of people, especially in this, like, generation, this age that's going through college right now, there's a lot of baseline anxiety. And, like, people are waiting for the floor to fall out under them. And it's like, a lot of people haven't had the thought of, like, but what if everything goes right? They're a little more waiting for someone to shut them down instead of believe in them.
I love that. And I think because a lot of, in my, like, a lot of coaching to me, and I think everyone probably has their own style of coaching, But like, in it, to me, and this was not the way I thought, when I first started coaching and communicating, learning how to talk to athletes of all different, experience levels and, their motivations. But it's like, um, I think adjusting athletes' expectations or helping them actually better understand the expectations and getting them to kind of actually put those things into perspective, I think is one of the most kind of unique qualities of being a coach. And probably some people are better at it than others and this and that, but like, it sounds like that's kind of what you do. It's like, hey, like, understand, the expectations or the realities, and that you can do this, or you have every right to kind of be in the same spot as long as you want it, and helping them kind of see the forest from the trees a little bit, and what their goals, and actually, what can actually happen if they just believe that they're doing the right thing. So anyway, I think that that's one of those like hidden things that people don't think about when it comes to coaching, where it's like, how do you get athletes to really think like that?
And I do think that part of it takes time and it takes energy, and everyone's at different place in their maturity, and some teams don't have the personnel or the time or the bandwidth for whatever to handle the athletes that are at a different point. When I think of a more novice or 3V athlete, like on one hand there's the enthusiasm, but sometimes there are just people who haven't asked themselves those questions yet of like, does winning matter to me? Or like, why am I coming back every day? Like, maybe it's just because my roommate tried it and was like, come try this. But they don't really want to be there or do the work. They just haven't admitted it to themselves yet. And there's nothing wrong with rowing is super polarizing. There's nothing wrong with not liking rowing. Like, I don't like to swim. I want a boat under me. But there's like, no one's going to be like, hey, you quit boxing. You don't like being punched in the face? Like, there's nothing wrong with just deciding you don't like something. But especially in rowing, I think there's a very hard, like the not quit culture. Overall, I think it attracts a lot of, I, I think it's like internally motivated people are really fascinating, in a great way. I think there are a lot of very internally motivated people, but I think rowing, like there's something about the community of it, and it just like attracts a lot of people who want the external, like an evidence of I have worked hard enough, I am good enough. And whether the evidence is competition or, the people who are motivated by being a good teammate, who are being a consistent teammate, who are, like I want to be inclusive, but I'm also not like, I'm not going to be like, you pull an 830, but you just want it so much, so you deserve to be in the 1V. Like, you can't want your way into the 1V, but like there has to be like concrete work that goes behind it. But I do, I want to give people the space to ask themselves the question of like, does this matter? If it matters, why? And I think when they start figuring out like, why does this matter to me so much, that it does unlock some ability to get really fast.